Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever stopped to think about how the person you love the most can sometimes feel, well, the most distant? Today, we're diving into the work of psychotherapist Esther Perel to really get to the bottom of the central paradox of modern relationships. So, at the heart of everything Perel talks about is this one big question that haunts so many of us in long-term relationships. Can we actually want what we already have? And look, this isn't some abstract philosophical thing. It's a real, practical puzzle that shapes modern love. And this quote from Perel, wow, it just nails it. In just one sentence, she basically diagnoses the biggest challenge facing modern couples. We're looking to one person to give us all the support that historically came from an entire community. Okay, so this brings us to one of her biggest ideas, a concept she calls the one-person village. And honestly, it's pretty much the dilemma at the heart of modern love. Just think about it for a second. Think about the job description we have in our heads for our partners. We're looking for a best friend, a therapist, a business partner in running a home, an intellectual equal, and a passionate lover, all rolled into one. I mean, when you actually say it all out loud, you realize that's a huge ask for just one person, right? And that is exactly what Perel calls the one-person village. We've basically taken all these needs that used to be spread out across a whole community and crammed them into one single relationship. And by doing that, we've set this impossibly high bar, and well, we've set ourselves up for a major fundamental conflict. So what is this conflict she's talking about? It's this constant tug-of-war, between two things we all need, but that often pull in opposite directions: security and adventure. The way Perel sees it, our whole lives are this negotiation. On one hand, we have this deep, deep need for safety, for feeling secure and knowing what to expect. But on the other hand, we also crave adventure. We want something new, something exciting. These two desires are always at play inside of us, and especially in our relationships. So, you've got security on one side, right? That's the feeling of safety, of belonging. It's that comfortable, predictable feeling of coming home. But then, over on the other side, you've got adventure. That's the novelty, the mystery, the risk. It's what creates that spark, that electricity. Love needs the anchor, but desire needs the fire. But here's where Perel's work gets really interesting. She says we don't actually have to choose between them. She has this great way of putting it. Love is a vessel that contains both security and adventure. So the goal isn't to get rid of that tension. It's to build a relationship that's strong enough and flexible enough to hold both of those things at the same time. Okay, that sounds great, but how? How do you actually do that? This is where Perel gets super practical and gives us a real toolkit. She calls it the verbs of intimacy. See, for her, intimacy isn't just some vague feeling that happens to you. It's an active language. It's something you do. And just like any language, it's built on verbs. These are the actions we can actually learn and practice to build a real, lasting connection. And here they are. These are the 6 verbs, the building blocks of that language. Now, they might look simple, but each one gets at a really core dynamic in a relationship. Asking for what you need, giving generously, being able to receive, knowing how to take, having the strength to refuse, and maybe the most forgotten one, remembering to play. Perel's point is that getting fluent in these actions, well, that's the real key to intimacy. And if you dig a little deeper, you see that each of these verbs carries some serious emotional weight. Like asking for something, that's not just about getting what you want. It's a huge act of trust. And receiving something from someone, Perel says that can be one of the most vulnerable things we do. And this one's huge. Being able to genuinely say no is what makes your yes actually mean something. It gives it real power. Okay, so what's really fascinating is that all of this stuff doesn't just stay at home. This isn't just about romance. It's about what she calls relational intelligence. And guess what? It comes right into the office with us. Perel has this brilliant observation here. She says, we all bring 2 resumes to work. You've got the one with your professional history on it, right? Your skills, your jobs. But then there's your relationship history. That's all the patterns you've learned about trust, conflict, and respect. And that second resume, it's on full display in every single meeting, every email, every interaction. Just look at how this plays out. The parallels are kind of amazing. So at home, maybe you're fighting about the in-laws. At work, it's the project budget. But what's really going on underneath? It's a fight for power and control. Or maybe at home, that unspoken feeling is, do you have my back? At work, that exact same need for care and closeness, it shows up as a lack of team collaboration. And feeling unappreciated at home? That hits the exact same nerve as getting passed over for a promotion, because in those cases, you're fighting for a fundamental human need, respect and recognition. So when you start to put all these pieces together, the one-person village, that tension between security and adventure, the verbs of intimacy, it lets you totally reframe what a relationship is even for. It stops being about finding someone and starts being about writing a story with someone. I mean, we're all kind of taught to look for the one, right? That perfect person who checks every single box on our list. But Perel says that's basically a recipe for disappointment. The real goal should be to find someone you can enter into a creative, collaborative process with. Which brings us to this really profound piece of advice from her. She says, instead of that checklist, focus on finding a person you can imagine yourself writing a story with. A story that's going to have edits and revisions. And that's the whole shift in thinking right there. You're moving away from a static, rigid checklist and into a dynamic, co-authored story that you're creating together. So in the end, a great relationship isn't some destination you arrive at. It's a story you are actively writing and rewriting together. It's a living thing, which kind of leaves us all with a pretty big question to think about, not just in our romantic lives, but in all our relationships. What's the next chapter you're going to write?